Wir begrüßen alles unsere jüdischen Freunde in Deutschland.
We are welcoming our Jewish friends. No. I'm sorry.
In German. And then you translate?
We are welcoming all our German friends in Jewland.
Wir begrüßen alles unsere deutsche Freunde im Judenland. And then you do English, and I will translate for the Germans again. So the other one in English.
The other one. We are welcoming our Jewish friends in Germany.
Wir begrüßen alles unsere jüdischen Freunde in Deutschland. That's always such a difficult part of this, and that's why it's so great to. It's sort of like, I think we think of life so much as starting with the easy things. When you're playing a video game, which is a way of experiencing life, the beginning of the game isn't that hard. I think anybody can start a video game. It's those who can really get deeply into it. That's where you see the real content. And in this show, in this experience that we are playing, because we are playing the characters of ourselves, the people of ourselves, we are always our characters, as a Jew in America, or as a Jew in Thailand, or as a Jew in Deutschland, which is German for Germany, I have to experience myself as the persona that I am perceived as, and the persona that I perceive myself as, which brings us to the theme of today's show,
which is
content. And
for the Jewish person, what is the structure, the state, the laws?
I don't think this is loud enough.
No?
I mean, because it's
It's important content and structure at the same time.
It's the air we breathe. It's the sonic air we breathe. I was going to say that in your piece tonight. I was thinking a lot about how you make sound a very aggressive, which I know has pejorative terms. Do you know what pejorative means?
No.
It has very pejorative undertones. Mm-hmm. Does it make more sense now?
Yeah.
Because of context and because of content. But what I mean is that the sound was very much vibrating columns of air that were, you wanted to think, oh, this is very German. This is quintessentially German. It's aggressive. Then you realized how true that statement is, right? It's on top of you, these columns of air.
Strong. Stark.
Kraft. Yeah.
I guess we can agree that I think my microphone.
Just speak,
What's with my microphone here?
Why don't we just speak, I think it's interesting that the Jew in this case has the better microphone. The Jew is the one with strength. And this is a little bit about the sensationalism we were talking about. This is what they want. They want us, they're baiting us with their laughter. They're retroactively baiting us. Fish can choose not to bite.
And I have to beat up the audience.
You gotta fix your microphone and make it better. It's best as is. Better than is.
I think that this but what I'm saying is fish can choose not to bait.
Maybe I can use your microphone too.
So we talked together. And so what we found yesterday was that structure happens to us. To structure, do we decide structure? Do we decide structure?
Yeah.
No. Structure is something that we are subject to. It's like the schedule. I'm going to make my schedule. No. The schedule decides you. 10:30 is a line, and suddenly you're past that line, and you feel that you are somehow at fault. That time, this physical object, the schedule you thought you had set is something that you have become the slave to.
So, I guess we can agree that we both believe in music and sound as physical air pressure in the air.
Exactly what I'm saying. Content.
Can I stay like that?
I think what we figured out yesterday was that we were so determined to build structure and to have structure that we ended up so that the structure could not deal with the content that our lives were. We go through life, we're wearing these clothes that we think will contain us, and then suddenly we have become obese with expectation, and we need a new set of expectations, a new set of clothes, or as the Germans say, a new set of parameters. The Germans understand vowels differently than we understand vowels. Now, Philip, is this what we're experiencing right now? Is this sensation or sensationalism?
It's kind of, what do you call it?
Does our audience know? We have this.
Itchy.
Philip, don't we have the smartest studio audience? Philip, what is our studio audience known for?
The smartest,
It's intelligence.
yes.
It can make the sound of someone talking underwater on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And so our audience knows that what we were experiencing there was both sensation and sensationalism.
Sorry,
I was.
it's not working.
Can you hear me if I speak into your shirt?
No.
Can you hear me if I speak into your shirt? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
If we can hear each other, then no one else has to hear us. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's very important.
Okay.
Do you understand that? I mean, it's obvious to say that our expectations have precluded our judgment. I think what I would like to do is to
What's wrong with your eyeball?
well, my hand became stuck. I'm trying to understand once again whether we are becoming ourselves or revealing ourselves, if we are subject to our own expectations. The content that right now we are promulgating is a content of, I would say, actually, could someone turn off the back corner light, Melanie, since you're back there? There's a little switch, if you could flip it. That's where I was going with that thought. See, isn't that a little different? How excited are you to be here?
I mean, the light is on, the mic's not working. What is
Okay,
that?
Blake, just calm down, you know? Don't worry about this. I think that what's happening is we're seeing once again how the structure, we're still tied up in structure and systems. You know, we're letting the system that we designed determine if we're succeeding or failing. Success and failure is entirely a matter of perception. And I hate to put it like this, but Germans can't live with that kind of ambiguity. They never have. Your people they really need to define themselves by their height, their mistress number, their sense of their height. They often have, because you're very tall. You've made yourself very tall to avoid failure. Because you are compelled to do so.
How do you avoid failure? In changing characters all the time?
I'm very German in that way. I'm sort of, I think if people saw me on the street, they would think, he seems very German in the way that he approaches success. You know, I think that's sort of what I project. Because that's a very Germanic device. The epistemological value that
Do you think the German, the quality of
our... Can you turn that up? We always like to turn it up. I feel like we're falling into the easy trap of sensationalism. And I'm a little bit surprised because this is the kind of thing that I think you generally want to avoid in your work.
I think we're under pressure from our success from yesterday. And we try to, you know.
This happens in the greatest sitcoms. No one raised a finger when Blossom was canceled. I mean, when I turned on the TV and it said the series finale of Blossom, and I thought I couldn't tell if what that was as an event in the human life. I mean, is that what things mean to us? Creation of man, teams of people and their desires, and suddenly it's just like a series finale of Blossom. I mean, someone who literally was at the height, the blossoming of her powers. This is Mayim Bialik. You know, remember how? Okay.
Would you say Oliver Kahn is the last real German? You know what I mean?
Oliver Kahn? I would like to do my Frasier impression later. Remember how you made me do the letter thing yesterday?
Yeah.
I think it's okay to recognize that yesterday existed.
Shall we do it again today, or?
You know, something's missing today, and I think our audience can tell us what it is, and it's having a really odd effect. It's sort of like a vacuum,
Yeah.
and it's very odd not to have it. And even though it was the catalyst for our destruction, for our tragedy, I mean, what is Hamlet without Hamlet or Claudius? Without those two characters, the title of Hamlet would be misleading at best, and superfluously misleading at the next worst level, similarly, and then grossly misrepresentative at worst. And I think that without this energy, and our studio audience, I think, knows what is going on, because we have this most wonderful studio audience, don't you think? Rose! Rose, quick, get in the bedroom! Niles! Daphne! Dr. Crane! Rose! It's one of the, I think if we're not responsible for our unlived history, and when I say unlived history, the history that we did live but is documented, then I think that by ignoring our past, we are destined to ignore our past, quite literally, and often repeat the future. And I think that by doing what I think is one of our greatest segments, my Frasier impression, I think that we're we're celebrating in a very honest way, you know, in like a reenactment of the Civil War, a real reenactment, you know, really what happened, brother against cousin. And I think what happens with the symphony orchestra is that when their audience leaves after, say, The Rite of Spring and doesn't listen to the complete remix of Daphnis and Chloe by Little John, you're destined to repeat your future. And I think we're seeing that tonight, and you know, I guess I feel two ways about it. Will this create one of those mirror effects if we keep, like, the next time we share this, will it be this episode, that episode, and the episode we're watching, so it'll be 3? So it'll be, will that be, is it an n+1 till infinity thing, or not? Daniel? So we're literally part of infinity. I mean, how often do you get to say, how many TV shows can do that? Roz? We're kind of also settling back into our own mode where I'm kind of being vaguely antagonistic to you and you're just sort of sitting there in a mixture of stoicism and like repressed rage. And I don't want for history to repeat itself. I didn't mean it. Oh, there we get. There's the German coming out. Something that made him smile. A memory of his people's past. Meaning episode 2. Episode 2. The unmentionable event. Is your microphone? This is like reading a Hemingway story, you know?
Do you want to try it?
Do you feel suddenly liberated? Can I see? This is what I'm finally the German that I wanted to be. Finally the German that I wanted to be. Holding your shirt
Maybe-
so close to mine.
Let's try that you speak in mine.
Okay.
And
I understand. Infinity, sort of a Klein bottle. It's like curing the hiccups. Can
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me? Who's talking? Ooh.
Oh. Who's who? Who's who, man?
Who's who? Finally, the Georgiou appears. I think every episode is about naturally forming the Georgiou. And which is
This time with sonic matter.
sonic matter,
Yeah.
as well as the immersion of physical oneness. So I think mine is probably more literal than yours,
Yeah.
because, I mean, they're both literally ours. What if we spoke?
Wait, let's turn. You're smaller. They cannot see you.
What if
Can you turn around?
if I spoke into your microphone, it was picked up by my microphone? Would
Yeah.
we become the same person?
Maybe we have to. Yeah, we have to create a feedback.
We should do this as like how would like Macintosh do this? You know, streamlined, shirt out, indie hair. You know, we need to create that kind of. If we could turn what we're doing right now into that kind of a product, then I think we would finally have the lifestyle we want. Do you see? Is my ass a little? That's sort of. I feel like it's sweaty, but that reminds me. It's like I don't want to be like Gary Shandling. You know, he's a quintessential Jew. I don't want to be like Gary Shandling. I don't want to be like Gary Shandling.
There's a lot of hair, I guess.
Do you want to read a letter from Germany?
Huh?
Do you want to read an audio letter from Germany? We get letters. We love getting letters on this
I
show.
think you should try to read that in German.
Does our crowd want to hear some letters? This one was sent by a past impression of myself doing Frasier. I won't do that to you.
No.
Dear Roz. Okay, no, but here's an actual audio letter we received. I'll just open it up and put it in this tape player, and I will assume its form. It's from Nora Epstein, from Temple Adonis Israel in Flagstaff, Arizona. Dear Mr. Parks, on behalf of my temple and my family, I wish to say, for shame upon you and for your terrible show. What you are doing to our people and to our cause is reprehensible. You should be ashamed and blacklisted from all programming by the FCC, the JADO, the ACLU, and all other acronymic entities which represent Jews in a positive way, including the president of PETA, my friend Rachel Weisberg, who not only does not eat pork, she advocates not using fur. You have done more in the last 10 episodes than Lenny Bruce, Roy Cohn, I assume he was Jewish, and Leo Frank. Leo Frank did in an entire lifetime. For shame upon you and your German colleague. Sincerely, Nora Epstein, Temple Adonis Israel, the only Greek temple hybrid in Flagstaff. So, and this creates a dialogue, right? This allows us to kind of, hey, this allows us to say, What's so great about this audience is how we get this swath of people from the community, most of whom I've spent a lot of time with personally. It shows that we're getting mass appeal, that the product itself is self-sustaining.
And we have to announce that you can buy content after this show today. Content represented
The
in
magazines that we are using to create avatars is on sale for
20,000? You want more, I know.
smartest studio audience in America. They consistently surprise me. I think we could sell them for the value. I think, well, I mean,
Just the zero
I
on
think-
it? Yeah?
I-
1 0 on the end?
for $5.95 with a zero at the end would still be $5.95 because of decimals. And most of them are decimals.
Before the comma.
He's a fair man.
Let's say,
In Germany, we need not get more money. We just need a longer printed. Kind of fizzled, but you
let's
see what I was
say
trying to
before
say.
the
Like
comma.
it's sort
What
of
do you think?
size over substance, which I think is an interesting concept. I don't mean it like there's a CD in this, a DVD in this book. Donald Trump is on the cover of the actual magazine and the advertisement for the magazine in the middle, and he's wearing a. Yeah. So. What I think is so wonderful, by the way, this is a little anecdote. Yesterday, I was reading this magazine. Can I see that magazine? It's in Atlanta. Can you pass me that magazine, please?
this one?
Yeah. And we're like this all the time. We rent a house. We do offsites. I don't know if any of you people do offsites, where we kind of say, what can we do what's next for German the Jew? Because if we're not staying exactly the same, then we're dying. Sort of an opposite business model. And but yesterday, I just think this is a lot of fun. It's called Be a PR Master, and I mimicked this face until I realized I needed to check on my prostrate wife, who I had basically forced into a state of physical exhaustion through this art, and felt just a tremendous amount of guilt and real concern. But right before that, I was imitating this face. Can we get a close-up? Everybody could get a close-up by coming close up to it. So let's get a close-up. This is how they used to do close-ups on the old shows. If you ever watch the old shows, the Lucille Ball show or the Leo Frank Hour, the lady's face. If you ever do that, if you ever seen those old shows and they say, let's get a close-up, you'll see all these old-timers come in with their bowler hats. And what is that, you know? So if we got a close-up, this is Robin Hensley, the exclusive executive coach for Business to Business. She's also my dad's, I hate to be sensationalistic, but sometimes it calls for it, my dad's third wife. Bert Parks, can you stand up?
And this is content, man, of our show.
Theme of our show, and I hope I mean no disrespect to Jill, but when you get a coincidence like that, it's time, would you like to see? It's time to spread the word, right? I think Jesus is one of the greatest coincidences of all. We shouldn't watch.
Look.
It's infinity.
No, you
It's a
left
part
me
of
there.
infinity. Ironically, finite.
You left me there.
No, I know. So, but we don't want them to live in the past. It's like getting together at a party and being like, all you do the whole time is, remember that time? It's like if I went to like Robert Cheatham. Remember that time when I was bar mitzvahed and I was basically forced into a life of consumerism? Okay, well, that's not a great example because you can play ball, you can zig and zag. But if I said to, you know what I'm saying? You get people together and you talk about a past they didn't share, right? Now, ironically, in this case, we basically were all here yesterday. So it's a little different. Should we encourage the audience to dance, or is that too like, yeah, let's get up and dance. And yeah,
Maybe the third time.
Germans. Why?
Okay.
Yeah, please come up on stage and enjoy this beat. No, I think that, yeah. I think it's time if you're in love and you want to celebrate Jill and Bert's wedding and you weren't at their wedding. Was anybody here at Jill and Bert's wedding? I want you to come up on stage and celebrate now. Dad, Jill, Come on, celebrate your own wedding retroactively. Everybody, celebrate their own wedding retroactively, but seriously, like you're really celebrating. It's like an old-fashioned variety hour. We're kind of entering new territory because we've accomplished everything we wanted today. We had content, we all saw content. We experienced a literal fusion of souls and bodies, which is important for science, it's important for art. What else did we accomplish today? I'm thinking of one specific thing. Do you really think that your blinking thing is attractive to women? You do. I mean,
You like it?
I just think that it looks like you're having a fit, sort of, which women often are attracted to
Do you think
weakness,
you
as are men.
do you think your vein on your forehead is attractive? Can you please show us?
No, that's really hurtful in a way. No, I don't. But I mean, I don't affect my vein.
It's like erection on your head.
This is the way I can hide it. And this, so no, everyone's like, oh, he looks fine, he looks normal. He's doing what everyone does. He's trying to hide. It's just,
Come on.
you think, but I'm not angry or laughing. I have to actually be feeling some sort of emotion. So all I have to do is remain.
I never touched it. Can we do that?
So should I get like angry or happy?
Yeah.
Is it some people have.
Wait. No, it's gone.
I can't fake.
On the way.
It's sort of like you can't really fake.
I feel your blood.
But I think everybody have veins in their erect phalluses. Is that true? But not with their erect foreheads. That's ironic. It's a difference. It's sort of like dimples. Some people have dimples on their phallus because of some sort of condition.
Where's the word
It's hardly
dickhead
laughable.
coming from?
Diction?
Dickhead.
Oh, is that where it's coming from?
I don't
That's
know.
great. It's fucking great. It's still working. We had problems with this TV earlier. It's interesting that we're not now. Because I think that was going to be something we were going to rely on, is fixing it. As like a...
No, I think what we accomplished today
Rolls, quick!
is
Ah,
the
can it, Fraser.
aggregation with the audience.
Dr. Crane!
Not only
Daphne.
the German and the Jew, but also the German and
Ross?
the Jew and the audience.
Daphne!
What do you think?
I was doing a Frasier impression. So I didn't... Were you talking about the audience and Jewishness? Like,
I talked about
I agree.
what we accomplished today.
yes. I think it's always important. I think some people at the end of the day, they're watching TV and they fall asleep. And they don't really think about what they accomplished that day.
think the amalgamation with the audience, the German and the Jew and the audience.
Amalgamation? I mean, amalgamation? There's been a, well, I mean, that's obvious. That's not what I was thinking of. No. Remember I was earlier.
What was it?
I think it was the amalgam between the audience and the German and the Jew that was created, not the amalgamation. It's a different. Wait, what is that?
Oh God! You get a reaction.
A reaction.
So you like it, huh?
When men can't get reactions, often they will take some sort of they'll go to a sensationalistic play and thereby achieve a reaction. It's a common problem with men, kids, a lot of kids have problems where they can't get reactions because of like Adderall or Ritalin is prescribed too young. And often bloggers, they get to a state where they can't get a reaction because they're so much in this instantaneous news environment, so they have to take sensationalistic plays in order to, you can be prescribed them. It's sort of a conceit that I'm trying to actuate. Like, I mean, we all get. Some men, are you a man who can't get a vein in his forehead? Has this ever happened to you?
You always you point to your vein or something.
I mean, because you started bringing it up. I don't think anybody really cared. Or it's one of those things like if I had a club foot, no one would ever mention it to me. But when I left the room, they might be like, does he have a club? You know? Is that a vein in his forehead?
It's already over.
That's because Janet had to like...
What is it, 49 minutes? 47.
I bet I know what every single person in the audience is thinking right now.
Do you think this part, I feel it's kind of a competition, huh? who holds out longer. And I think it's the last one. My, what do you call it? It's also like a little bit shiny because of the sweat. But what do you call the scoring rate in golf? Or
Par.
no, not the scoring rate. The different levels of the handicap. So I think my handicap with holding the newspaper, was it high or low? What's lower? I think my handicap was lower.
Are you saying that,
You had an easy fade.
like, I have to hold it longer than you to be equal?
Yes.
It's pretty presumptuous. You know, I hate to use a cliche, but what a transition I've made today. It's been such a wonderful experience here in Atlanta. We have a great audience at home. We have a great fan base. When you travel and meet people all over this country, I don't know how you feel about this country. We're both visitors here, right? I'm part of a diaspora that began because of persecution and continues because of persecution, and he's a foreign exchange student. So we're both sort of like fish out of, like I mentioned in that joke that really died nicely in the very beginning of this entire experience. So I think it's time to have the hug of healing.
I think so, yeah.
In German, die Heilenhang.
Now, heilende Umarmung.
See, I never,
Around.
what's the first word? Just do the whole thing. Heilende
Heilende Umarmung.
Heilende Umarmung. And it's the same Heil as it's sort of like we're healing this, I'm not kidding, this is not a joke. This motion, which we all has pejorative connotations, we talked about that word earlier. We're healing that motion, the word Heil, by doing the hug of healing. So we're healing ourselves, we're healing retroactively. Heilende Umarmung. We invite everyone to join us in the hug of healing. You can hug separately, or you can hug like a covalent bond. Please join us for the hug of healing. Please join us for the hug of healing. Please join us. Some traditions are worth keeping. All people love to be touched. The highway is the death of humanity.
Heilende wil ik wel weinig.
Arlen Specter is a Jewish Republican senator from Philadelphia.
Heilende wil ik wel weinig.
Heilende Umarmung.
Heilende wil weinig.
When we are all dead, this hug will keep lasting on forever. It'd be very easy to make us all fall down right now. Very easy. But the German and the Jew will remain strong.
I hope you all support the land trust when you walk on out of here. If you go put $1 or $3 in the land trust box, that would be greatly appreciated.
Is my dad up here? Is he abstaining? Dad? Come on, Dad. This isn't ironic. You're not above this. Your voice may not be distorted, but my dad's, does he look 70? But he's turning 70 September 7th.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Come on, Dad.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. He's not the greatest counter. And why should he be? He doesn't live life according to the lines of age.
Can we all say Heilende Umarmung?
Heilende Umarmung. Thank you for being a part of the German and the Jew. Good night from Atlanta, Georgia, and our Lakeland studios.
Amen.
Jew and a Jew. It's a Jew. I know. What could I possibly be embarrassed by saying right now that would be her? Somebody will hear what you say.